tend to generate
You see,
money into
the trust fund is supposed to be a fund that will have contributions from various parts of from various sectors of the economy, from the private sector. Like if we can learn from the Brazil type, I was discussing with the head of nations in Brazil. He said, look, in their own country, in addition to what government is doing directly to the scheme they have there, that they have a fund like that 1% of the revenues of all the industries and companies and organizations there are used for such funds. And
so it will be some kind of levy.
Exactly. So it is just small. 1% of a profit will not be too much felt. But by the time you put it together, it will be enough for us to do. So what the idea is that when these core members are going there, we'll have enough money to buy materials for their training. Then when they leave, after service, what next? Before they go, they will have perfected whatever they have learned. Then we'll give them some startup capitals. Let them start with it and we work on it. Then it will also help us to see how we can do some of this infrastructure, something in our camps. Okay. Our camps, the government said state governors should take care. But state governors with a lot of responsibilities, sometimes before you can get such urgent things done, it's difficult. But if we have a fund like that, at the same time, community development program, we have HIRD. HIRD is Health Initiative for Rural Dwellers, that we mobilize all our core members in the health sectors, doctors, pharmacists, medical scientists, and medical lab scientists. We mobilize them to a particular local government in a state, and we do that quarterly. We rotate. Then we will now invite all the people in the rural communities to come and avail themselves of that program, so that at least we know that it is difficult for rural dwellers to access medical facilities because of lack of enough infrastructure, not of enough facilities there. So when we want to do that, normally we have to go for sponsors outside. We beg people, go to clinic, Ministry of Education, get to spiritual individuals, international organizations and all this. But if we have a fund like that, we should be able to get from the fund, and even if it is to buy drugs, to use.
But it's like you guys are deviating from the original objective, because you said youth employment is to promote youth employment.
Yes.
How would that?
NYSC is in two categories. We have the development of the country itself. That is one of the objectives.
So the fund is not only going to target youth employment, it's also going into development into community development.
You cannot develop the core member alone without the community is working.
Okay, you talked about the entrepreneurship program you have. How do you monitor the progress of those people you train?
Yes, you see, right from camp, once they come into the camp, we already get them to their particular trainers. We have their records, we have everything. After the training in camp, they are sent to their various places of assignment, and they retain the trainers throughout the period. Then periodically we go out to monitor what they are doing, check what they are doing. We invite them, we call them for meetings. Our people go there to check, to see what they are doing. We get experts to go and see their progress, correct them. Then in that aspect, we are partners with many funding organizations like CBN, BOI. Those ones have professionals that they send to us, that are sent to monitor what they are doing. And at the end of the day, when we give them loans or we give them startup capital, we retain their certificate of national service.
Okay. Yes. But when they form the trust fund, when it finally comes to fruition, will it be in form of loan or grant to?
We will sit down to look at that. Some will be, we will set aside some for loans, so that because it has to be revolving, then a percentage of it will be a grant. There are startup capitals that when you give as loan, you are not helping the person, you are not helping the entrepreneur. If you give him a loan and tell him to. But there are some that will put as loan, that will be revolving.
That's more sustainable.
Yes, sustainable. So that because if we just give loan and give, maybe we will, copper go, copper come. When this set gets the loan and decide not to pay back, how are we going to fund the other loans?
Okay, I understand that NYSC also generates income to the fact of even remitting to the coffers of federal government.
Yes.
What is NYSC buying necessarily, if I may ask?
We have a set of talented Nigerians who are core members. Okay. You see, the parents just give birth to these children, train them, send them to schools. After finishing, they come to serve. They don't know the capacity of their children. These children in Nigeria are simply wonderful. Yes. So what we do is that, okay, since we are already having this problem of unemployment and we are looking at sustainability of the scheme generally, so what we do is that we have a government-approved ventures department for us. So in that ventures department, we have various professionals working in, core professionals working in some of them. So like we have our bakery, it's in NYSC Kuba camp here. The core members they produce bread and we sell bread and we have very large customership. Okay. And then we have the water factory too. We produce water, table water and sachet water. Okay. And we sell around, it's there. Then we have garment factory. The garment factory is serving two purposes. The garment factory is giving some allocation of the uniform, the kits of the core members to produce because they cannot produce everything, it's large. And they are now, it's also a place where we train core members on fashion designing and tailoring. We have in equipment, we have in Niger and another state. Then we have rice mill. We have in yes, we have rice. We have our farms where we produce such things, and we have meal.
Do you need government fund with all this?
Well, we are just starting. I mean, we have not gotten
because this is big.
Yes,
this is big.
But we have not gotten to the stage where we can take up. We are still grooming the sectors and the industries and what we are doing. So I'm sure by the time, and that is why you see us generating revenue. I think last year alone, NYSC generated over 2 billion to the to the Federation account. Wow.
Why not just push it to the fund then?
Well, definitely by the time we start, by the time the fund is approved, we cannot. That's our own capital that we internally generated. We can't put everything into the fund.
Thank you very much.
So we still need assistance.
Thank you very much,
yes,
NYSC Director for Community Service, Abdulrazak Salo.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, next is our Surviving COVID-19 series as put together by Ineka Oko.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Usman Otaro is my name. I'm a tailor by profession. I'm into this work more than 30 years now. And what I did, any of my son, when they go school, whenever it's holiday, you come and join me in the shop. It will give me helping hand, helping himself. At times when they go school, I may not get money. With what he has did, he can help himself. The coronavirus affect my business. Let's say out of 100, 60%. I can be able to manage myself with 40%. And what do I do that time? I now know the shop has been locked. Even if the house is locked. What I need to do? You sew nose mask to survive. Then you need to go to the market. That time, nose mask is selling. You can sell 20 or 30 in a day. You can patch up with it. And when my union needs a nose mask, they call me. We do it in mass. What it taught me is that whatever you have, make sure, even though now 1 naira, you keep 10% of that money. So that if any emergency happens, you can survive with it. And that is what helped me. Because I didn't eat all what I had. If I have 10 naira, I must take 10% of it and drop. There's no more lockdown. The business is coming up small. Then we will not face difficulty again. Let's say now the business has peaked up to 90%. Federal government. It then give us 30,000. They say it's COVID pandemic whatever I have for it. It's not boring. You understand? They don't dash people. So, but we follow union. Being that we are union, that's why you can be able, some of us can be able to take. But as I talk to you, I know receive. But some of my boy in my shop, they receive. Because my name doesn't come out.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank.
Now let's find out how much is the Naira exchanging for other currencies. Japan and Hong Kong stocks drop as Asia-Pacific markets tumble on Tuesday. Over to Neka Oko.
It's a red day across the globe this Tuesday as global stocks are enduring their worst month since the pandemic roiled markets. In Asia, Japanese markets dropped more than 2%. The Nikkei 225 fell 1.66% as auto and technology stocks were largely down. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index lost 2% before recovering slightly to decline 1.85%. Mainland Chinese stocks were also lower as the Shanghai Composite lost 2.42%. European markets are expected to follow their Asian counterparts lower when they open this Tuesday as investors continue to react to heightened tensions between the Ukraine and Russia. Meanwhile, U.S. stock index futures fell in early trading Tuesday after a wildly volatile session that saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average erase more than 1,100 points decline to finish Monday in positive territory. Futures contracts tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost about 280 points. S&P 500 futures dropped 41 points, while Nasdaq 100 futures also tumbled. In Africa, the markets on the flip side were positive Monday and sustained momentum into early trade Tuesday. South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 is seen rising 1.12%. Namibia's overall index is also in positive territory, while other markets on the continent are expected to also turn in green.
Oh, thank you, Neka. This is where we end this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Business Express returns Wednesday by 3 p.m. I am Musa Abubakar.
to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
This vaccine is safe and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFTA.
Wannan labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin
labarin da ke gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
ọkwa ji ikenga eziokwu
nwanne m nwoke
Ikechukwu Ndukwe Igbo
mam iji wee mee ka ụbọchị na-aga n'anya ya
ọjọ́ léwútẹ́lú nù.
nation fún ti òwúrọ̀ yìí ibẹ̀ náà ti sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìpínlẹ̀ Benue pàṣẹ wípé.
ní gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀ka ní ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ní ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera ní ẹ̀ka ètò ààbò.
This is the network service of the NTA.
hello and welcome to Your Health in Your Hands, and welcome to the year 2022. Thank God. There is so much that we are grateful for. Everything from protection, for preservation. COVID-19, as you know, has affected so many people and so many businesses and so many lives in so many different ways. And so we just thank God that we are in a good position to continue to do and to serve in the way that we are serving. I personally am especially grateful for the protection. We have traveled all over the United States for the work that we're doing with the Brain and Body Foundation. And especially we're grateful to you, our viewers, for your patronage, your faithfulness to watch these programs, to give us feedback, and most especially for the award that we won recently. We have been we were nominated, and later on we won the award for the best TV program for the promotion of health. So thank you. We could not have done that without you. So thank you, and thank you again. The need for Nigerians like you and me to understand the basic fundamental principles when it comes to learning how to take control of your health could not be greater. This is not going to be the last pandemic. There are probably going to be worse pandemics. We have to understand how to take control of our health while taking advantage of whatever is available to us by the government, whether it's vaccines or treatments. But you cannot put aside your own personal responsibility for your health. And that's why we do the things that we do. So we know there are some basic things like you got to have enough sleep, you have to exercise, you have to move, you have to eat good food. You don't want to eat junk food all the time. You also have to be sure that you are taking your medications, especially if you are diabetic and hypertensive. As you well know, most of the deaths have been in people who are overweight, who have diabetes, who have hypertension, or some other kind of comorbidity or chronic disease. Those are the ones that are being killed, of course, age by COVID-19. And many times it's because they did not have these diseases under control. So it is super important that we understand these things. In my opinion, something that we seem to have overlooked the most and which is not being emphasized like I should, and I've come to have a lot of respect for the professionals who take care of this particular field. The field I'm talking about is the field of oral health, dental health, specifically the dentists who are taking care of this of people within this field. What we now are beginning, or what we are beginning to find out, is that the health of your teeth and your gums has a very fundamental, very concrete effect on not just your brain health, but the health of your rest of your body. And it can be the deciding factor as to how well you age and how well you are able to control those other diseases that we're talking about. So this particular presentation will be super, super important. All right, welcome back, folks. I am with me on the show today. It's Dr. Dayo Oluwadara, who happens to be my former classmate from medical school. So we know it was supposed to be 1989, but you know, with all the strikes and all that. Anyway, we have been friends and classmates since 1990, and we went through all the trials and tribulations of medical school. He currently runs a thriving dental practice called, Sheba Dental, based in Texas, and is planning on opening one in California. Dr. Dayo, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, my friend Dayo. It's nice to see all the achievements that you have made in the Brain and Body Foundation, and congratulations to you on the award. That's such an excellent thing.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah. And it's nice to be on the show today. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we've been working on this for a while, and we're really looking forward to what you have said. So it's interesting, folks, that we're both named Dayo, so we'll be going back and forth with Dayo. Just so you know. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your practice and what you do. I know you have a PhD in dental, along with your dental qualification. So let's tell us a little bit about your focus on what you do at your practice.
I care so much because of the care of the patient. The approach is to look at the patient, not just treating the mouth or the oral tissues, but looking at the patient as an holistic view. What's the impact of your oral health on your entire body? And coupled with my training in the doctoral degree in oral biology, oral cancer research, I kind of see a lot more that what the mouth, the impact of what happens in your mouth can actually reflect over your body. And research and documentation has shown that a lot. So in a nutshell, my entire goal is to look at my patient and be able to see and treat you beyond the mouth, kind of give you all the necessary oral medical advice that you need to take care of, not only of your mouth, but to take care of your entire systemic body as well.
Fantastic. And that is exactly what we're talking about, because why don't we start with the basics? Why is it important to have good oral hygiene from your experience and from your research, of course, from theory as well? Why is it so important? Let's start there.
Oral hygiene, it's literally said your mouth is the mirror of the body. And right now, we're looking at the structures of your body, your teeth, your gums, your tissues, your tongue, the mucosa, and the saliva. Everything works together to create a milieu and an environment in which you need to take care of everything. Now, if you do not do, and you have infections accumulate over a period of time, it complicates not only your oral health, it can complicate your heart, it can complicate your brain, it can complicate your GI tissues, your stomach, and your entire body. And it has impact all over even general autoimmune disease that you can have. And research has shown the importance of the mouth and what we call the microflora, or the bacteria and the viruses that are resident in the mouth, what impact they can do all over your body if you neglect to take care of your mouth and your oral tissues.
Interesting. So it's not just about the teeth, but the gums and the saliva as well. That's interesting. I know we're going to talk about that some more. So now let's talk about some concrete examples. Patients, of course, you don't have to identify them, but in your practice, you've seen this person, you warn them, this person, he was not brushing his teeth regularly or was not flossing regularly. And you probably were warning him and warning them and telling them to do this, and then eventually something happens. Do you have such cases like that we can point to and you can say what happens when you do not take care of the teeth?
Yeah, no, there's several cases. I will start with what should be the norm, what should be the expected stuff. The American Association kind of advise that every individual should at least brush twice daily and at least 2 minutes per each session of your brushing. So whenever you brush, you at least maintain 2 minutes to be able to take care of the entire mouth, going through all the crevices to the back and everything, and make sure you clean. And at least you can do that twice daily. It also
twice daily when you wake up and when you go to bed, or is there any specific after?
Generally, it is suggested after breakfast, in the morning, and last thing before you go to bed. But again, we cannot kind of make a fastidious rule because we differ as individuals. The time that we eat, the time that we drink stuff, the entire goal is this. We don't want you to have food and sugar and stuff remaining lot in your mouth when you're going to bed. Your mouth should be free of all those food debris that bacteria and viruses can act upon over the night or over several hours, and can cause a lot of acidic changes in your mouth, or that can destroy your teeth or your gums. So essentially, the essence of brushing is to break away all those microbacteria and the impact in which toxins that they produce can impact you and impact your oral health. So that's a standard. The second standard.
Wait, hang on just a minute. So causing acidity in the teeth and the gums, why is that important? Why is that a problem?
Because whenever you have too much acidic environment, it destroys your gums and it makes you to have tendencies to have cavities on your teeth. So you have a lot of decalcifications that goes on due to the acid, and from there you begin to have holes on your teeth, and you begin to have gum irritations, accumulation of other bacteria and viruses to grow, and then you begin to have gum problems, gum bleeding that leaves literally from the gum alone and goes to the entire supporting tissues, what we call the periodontium, and you have what we call periodontitis. That in itself is the key problem that causes a lot of all other problems within the body. It can affect you, either you have instances of diabetes or in many other systemic problems, as we will take along as we discuss.
Diabetes. You're saying me that gum disease results in diabetes?
Yes, it could complicate the risk factors for you, and you have your tendencies to become diabetic. Not only that, it could have a lot of microflora within the gums itself, can cause more cardiac problems for you. Tendencies for cardiovascular problems. You have a lot of plaque being formed as a result of some of the toxins and bacteria that lives and dwell within the mouth. So in other words, if you allow a lot of bacteria and viruses to dwell within your mouth, that microflora can cause a lot of stuff. One in itself, they can get into your blood. So you have some kind of low-grade bacteremia, which you have a lot of seedlings of bacteria within your blood that can flow all over your body and affect your organs. Not only that, they produce toxins. So if they don't go directly into your blood, their toxins can go into your blood. And that toxins can affect every aspect of your body. Finally, whenever toxins gets into your body reacts to it. So those inflammatory response from the body itself can also cause destructions to your body. So the mouth is very essential.
But are you saying that simply by brushing your teeth twice a day, you can avoid all this?
Yes, you can reduce a lot of those problems, because what essentially the brushing does is to dislodge away how those microbacteria form and aggregates. So brushing itself kind of helps dislodge them and clean them up. And that's very important. And when you do brush, you want to use another standard by the American Dental Association is that you have a good toothbrush. One that have a soft tissue brushing techniques on it, and that it can last you for about 3 to 4 months. Now, if most of the bristles are gone, you need to change out those brush even before 3 or 4 months. So you cannot.
But Dio, don't forget now. I mean, our teeth are strong. We can't be using soft toothbrushes now. You know that soft toothbrushes are for white people's teeth. You know that.
Of course, you can always step up to a middle grade tooth depending on you as an individual. But you need to make sure you use something that can dislodge bacterial flora whenever you brush. That won't be cutting or hurting your gums, or that won't be destroying your teeth. Because when you use very aggressive toothpaste, you can again cause destruction of your teeth while you're taking care of it. So there has to be a balance thereof. But the most important thing is you must be able to use a good toothbrush. You cannot have a toothbrush that you use for 1 year, 2 or 3 years, and you don't change it.
Very important. Sorry, just very important. At this point, we have to take a quick break, a quick commercial break, so folks. Doc, hold that thoughts. Don't go away. And if you haven't called your friends, make sure you call them, because this is very important information. See you soon. All right, folks, welcome back. I am here on the show, or on the show with me is Dr. Dayo Oluwadara, who is a dental surgeon based in the USA, and he is giving us some really important points about how to take care of our teeth and how that can affect the rest of our body. So, Dr. D, back to you. We're going to talk about the importance of keeping the toothbrush itself clean and putting it in a good environment. Go.
Okay, so as we were talking about, the other important thing is where you keep the toothbrush. Because as much as a toothbrush can be a good equipment or tool for you to clean your mouth, if you don't keep it in a safe environment, if you keep it in an environment which it attracts a lot of bacteria, the microenvironment is so dirty, you keep it in the dust, keep it in an open space, it could attract a lot of bacteria and viruses. And when you put it back into your mouth, you are literally introducing bacteria back into your mouth from other sources. And you'll be so surprised. Some other people too use one toothbrush across several family members.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
So that's a terrible exchange of microbacteria that is very dangerous. Now, each individual it's been known by research that some part of these microorganisms have tendencies toward each part of disease in the body. Some of them have a tendency to cause rheumatoid arthritis. Some of them have a tendency to become amyloid, leading to accumulation of amyloid tangles in the brain so that you can have Alzheimer's disease. So there are little specific areas like that. This has to do with genetic constituent of each individual. Now, the danger is this. You have somebody that has microbacteria that's more favorable towards cardiac problem, cardiovascular or heart problem. You go to use that toothbrush without care, put into your own mouth, then you imbibe this new microbacter that can cause you different pathology within your body. So while the use of a toothbrush could be a very good thing, if it's not properly kept, not a good microenvironment, or multiple people are using the same toothbrush, then that runs the risk of spreading a cross of diseases, not only within the mouth, but across the entire systemic spectrum.
Do you see this in the US as well, people using the same toothbrush?
I don't have a research to support it, but I know that people are a little careless enough to do all kind of things that are not helping their health generally.
Okay, so speaking about keeping the toothbrush in a good place. So what I hear from you is that just put your toothbrush on the sink, where everybody is, maybe 5 people are using the same bathroom, and you just put it on exposed to the elements, so to speak, rather than maybe putting it in a toothbrush. I mean, I for one, don't even keep my toothbrush in the bathroom. I keep it somewhere else. But at the very least, put it inside a container that protects it from heated with these bugs, right?
Absolutely. At the very least, have a very clean case where you keep your toothbrush and make sure that exactly, because you don't want the toothbrush again to be a source of environmental microbacteria that you then introduce back into your body that can cause you another systemic problem or a local problem in your mouth.
So what I'm hearing from you is that if a bacterium or virus or any other bug gets into your mouth, either through your teeth or through the bad foods that you've eaten, and the debris that's stuck in your mouth, and it becomes acidic and festered and all that. Somehow it enters into the gum and into the bloodstream, and it gets to the heart and can cause different kinds of diseases based on the particular bug that we're talking about. And
exactly.
These bugs can actually go to the brain and cause what is known as dementia. For those of you who don't know what dementia is, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Now, dementia is when you begin to lose your tendencies to, it's a spectrum in which they call it Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's. You begin to lose tendency for you to remember, memory loss. And the pathophysiology is based on what we call accumulation of some kind of tau protein within the brain, specific areas of the brain, in which these proteins can just be there, and then they form a kind of tangles which affect the structure of the brain and ultimately begin to affect your ability to remember stuff. And down the road, it begins to affect many other functions of your body. Now, there's a particular bacteria within the gums that produces what we call gingipain. Gingipain is a structure that research has shown both in animal studies and in humans, that it goes into, is able to break down the tau protein that's accumulated within that area and break them into substances that can cause a lot more tangles to accelerate the cause for Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So that's how periodontal problems and what happens in your mouth can be tied to what's happening to your brain. So this idea of brain-body foundation and brain-body effect is something that is practical, and it's really something is of tremendous impact when you look at your mouth. Some people wonder, just ordinary stress that they have within the mouth, chronic psychological stress for a long period of time of life can affect your microbiota within the mouth. And when it does affect that, it affects how your gum function, how your body reacts, and ultimately affects several other things you have. So your body and your mouth kind of have a bidirectional contribution to each other. Just like we mentioned, type 2 diabetes. A lot of hyperglycemia from type 2 diabetes can cause your periodontal problems and gum problems to escalate. So while diabetes is happening within your body, it can cause you a lot more periodontal gum problems within your mouth. If you take a tooth out, you may not heal so quickly. Then you get more infections because you don't heal so quickly. And you have to be on antibiotics. And so all of this stuff kind of work together so that this basic care of the mouth, of the oral tissues, plays a vital role on the entire body altogether.
We have a few more minutes now. I don't want us to end this segment or this session without talking about the other things that dentists in the US emphasize. Like they talk about, you have to come 6 months. Every 6 months, you have to come for cleaning, and you have to scrub your floss your teeth. And in fact, some say you have to use the pickaxe or whatever, the pick floss, the high pressure water thing that they use. But they say floss is not good again. You have to use this. And I hear that. And it's like, wait, we have to do all this? So let's address that quickly.
Now, evidence has shown that flossing does work. Evidence-based dentistry has given us lots of accumulated data that flossing does work. One, now, the literal aspect of flossing is just use the little stripe or string that you go it once a day. Just once a day is just enough. That's what's recommended by the American Dental Association. Once a day is okay. You go in between each teeth. What it does is manually takes away debris that are stuck between the gums and the teeth. It dislodges microbiota. It dislodges bacteria. It gives you accessibility to be able to brush them all away. And it prevents things lodging within your gums in between your teeth. Essentially, it allows for more cleaning tendencies. Now, there's a little more technology other than having the little floss stripe that you run into your mouth. There's now what we call water floss, in which people can just use water going all through it. Evidence has shown all of them works, but now it depends on your choice and what you can afford, because pricing all differs in terms of, but basic old type flossing tendencies and type are still very cheap out there. It's something that should be encouraged. In addition to twice brushing a day, flossing once a day is highly recommended just to keep microbiota away. The microbiota looks so small, but they could cause a lot of pathology for the individual, particularly depending on your immune status.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And then 6 months? 6 months training?
Yes. It's a good culture that most people in the United States keep. I would say most in relative to the Nigerian environment. But in terms of even the statistics in the United States, still many people still need to go to see dentists more. But with relative to Nigeria, a lot more people go to see dentists in the United States than in Nigeria. They keep their 6-month appointment. They go for that recall. And what do you do in a recall? The recall is for them to kind of do a checkup on you. You might need 1 or 2 X-rays. They check upon your gums, check upon your tissues, check upon the soft tissues, check upon the hard tissues, the teeth, and make sure they get good. They also correlate what's happening in your mouth with your entire systemic body. When you go to a very standard dentist in the United States, you're going to take your medical history, run everything going in your medical situation, either in your heart, in your body, your blood pressure, renal problem, systemic problem, hormonal problem. They balance everything based on what they're seeing in your mouth. And they evaluate you based on that every 6 months, and they make appropriate recommendations. Basic recommendations will just be cleaning. Most of them are covered by insurance. Most of those 6 months cleanings are covered by the insurance, particularly when it's just basic cleaning. There are occasions in which people need what we call a deeper cleaning, what we call scaling and polishing. That's also covered by insurance to some extent, but it's a good culture most people in the United States have adopted, and it does help. Because when you come in a 6-month period, we can know what's going on in the soft tissues. They can take care of the gums, get all the tatters, the plaque, and the calculus out of them, evaluate with X-rays when there's a need to get something done, and check in your mouth even if there are any features that can cause any tendencies for cancer or anything down the road that can cause a big problem. So it's a 6-month recall that is done mostly by most people in the United States compared to Nigeria. Is something that we should adopt in the Nigerian communities. There's several dentists out there in Nigeria that are great, and I hope we Nigerians can take care of that opportunity.
Fantastic. Well said. Well said. So there's so much more we have to unpack, but at this, we've run out of time. So I'm going to say, just do a quick recap, folks. The bottom line here is that you've got to take the health of your teeth, your oral health, more importantly than you are. I would say that's true for 90% of people. So please, first and foremost, brush your teeth regularly. I'm assuming general toothpastes are good. Is there any particular kind that we should avoid, Doc?
Any toothpaste that is endorsed by the American Dental Association and by the Nigerian Dental Association is acceptable. These are highly professional body that make decisions based on science. So anything endorsed by the American Dental Association or the Nigerian Dental Association is acceptable by the population. I think it's something that people should go to the market and pick up.
Okay, folks, you've heard that. Brush your teeth twice a day, folks. If you're only going to brush your teeth once, then you brush it at night. Yes, Bros? Yes, Doc?
Absolutely advisable, because that's when we all sleep and things accumulate in the mouth. Brush at night, floss, and go for a recall every 6 months. They look basic, but they prevent a lot of problems.
Absolutely. All right, so we have to wrap it up right now. Thank you, Dio, for being on us, for educating us today. We will look forward to hearing from you again next week, by the grace of God. And thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the Brain and Body Foundation, and have a wonderful 2022, everybody. Let's make oral health a very key, important part of 2022. Have a wonderful one. God bless you.
Absolutely. Folks, see you next week. Remember, you can always watch these videos on the NTA website, the NTA YouTube website, and on our website as well, Brain and Body Foundation. In the meantime, take care. Stay safe, stay strong. God bless. Bye-bye.
Fellow compatriots, if no single tribe or religion has defeated poverty, then no single tribe or religion can develop Nigeria. The success story of every state and capital is the contribution of every tribe and religion. Our Nigeria no be wazobia. No majorities or minorities. Every tribe and every religion still dey hustle for naira wey no get tribe or religion. So, my country people, let's join this movement that says naira no get tribe and use the naira to develop our naira land. Citizens first. Citizens before state of origin. Citizens before your religion. Citizens before your ethnic belonging. For participation, call 0902 739 5555.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Well, there's a mirage of things. I think, first of all, we have to go back to writer. You are very well known for teaching skills. Your students speak a whole lot about you.
Miss Nigeria competition.
I said, let's pick them up, let's take them back to Nigeria, and let's teach them a different kind of job.
Hello, thank you for joining us again on the show, The Woman. My name is Elizabeth, and you know what we do here? We bring out women who are doing exceptionally well in a whole lot of ways. Wherever they find themselves, they distinguish, and in spite of whatever stepping or stumbling block that might just be on the way, they turn around as a stepping stone to success. My guest is such personality. She has a lot of firsts attached to her name, and very importantly, despite whatever that might be hanging around, she has never given up on her philanthropic tendencies, her charity. As long as she's concerned, hope must be kept alive. Who is this guest? Find out right after now. Okay, if you're just joining us, you're right on time, because I'm about to showcase this wonderful woman who is not, in fact, she has actually signed off old age, because every day she grows younger rather than grow older. She is known as a whole lot of things, but let's begin by introducing her as the very first Secretary General of the Nigerian officers' wives here in Nigeria. Actually was in Ilori, and then she was also elected as the president of Retired Armed Forces and Police Officers' Wives Association. She founded the Wives of a Representative Members Wife Association. And she is also known for a whole lot of things which we will showcase. Join me as I welcome them, Tumini Christy Akogu. Nice to have you, ma'am.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. I started by saying that people grow old, you grow young. Tell us, what's the secret?
Because I take things easy.
I noticed. And I also see Daddy with you. You know, he's 80 years.
Yes.
Not too long ago, he turned 80.
July, yeah.
Yes. I'm seeing his picture here. I've also seen him live. And he's not looking anything beyond 60. How do you manage to feed him? What do you do to make him look so young?
Well, we make sure that he's happy all the time. And he is quite prayerful. And we pray together. We eat together. And he doesn't eat much. And we do much. We give him a lot of seafood. You know, from my background, we eat a lot of...
Yeah, River State.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of seafood.
Yes.
You know what you have stressed here for me? You know, you kept talking about happiness. When I asked you about yourself, you said, I try to be happy. And I asked about him, you say you make him happy. Yes. So happiness has a way of reducing age. And you're just reiterating it again. I'm happy for that. But back to, you know, he was... an officer and you were his wife.
Yes.
You are still his wife.
Yes.
But I want to go back to that days, you know, to those days. I once spoke with the late Victoria Aguirre, and she said it wasn't that easy being a military person's wife. How did you manage, you know, being a wife of a soldier?
Well, you didn't know any other way. We started that way. You had no other experience. So you only had to grow with the way you find yourself. So we had to tolerate whatever we found out on our way. As the course, the army directs, you obey.
You move with it. Were there moments you panicked, so my husband has gone out, is he going to make it back? You know, those worries.
A time that he was at work, in Ilori, I was expecting my second child or third one, I can't remember. I was quite big, and I was cooking and I heard on the radio martial music. You know, being with him for 2-3 years, and they've been all this series of coups that time. So I caught that, I said no, I had to pick the car key. I drove to the office. He was panicking when he saw the car. He said, who will have brought this? I drove there. I said, please, I said, please, my dear, come, let's go. Let's go. He couldn't understand it. His commandant was there. Other officers, they even came out, wondering what Madam would be looking for. I said, no. I was scared that martial music means there's a coup. There's trouble. So before anything can get to my husband or hurt him,
let me
let's
take
go.
him away.
He just got his driver, got Audley into the car, said he should drive me back.
And he stayed back?
Instead, he never came back.
Wow.
Until night.
Wow, they were really happy.
And that was a very
happened.
serious time for me. I was shaking, you know, newly married couple and everything that is happening. You want safety for your husband. And we are coming from the war zone.
Okay, and then for 50 years you have stayed in that marriage. He's alive and you're still alive. Yes. And you're all having a good time with the children.
Right.
Okay, so and then he moved from being that to becoming a politician. Went for, you know, the House of Rep. And again, the wife of a politician is also on edge. So how were you able to also manage it? Because I know with politics, it's hardly around again.
Yes, it wasn't there. It was always one meeting or the other, traveling, going. Actually, he started the politics by going in for governorship of Edo State.
Okay.
And I think that was before the date of Abacha. So by the time he was still campaigning when they said General Abacha had died. So, you know, everything had to stop just like that. Whatever you are doing, it's like stop. So I was going to join him in Edo for campaign and take some more money back so that they will use it around. But when I heard the news, I said, he will be waiting for me. There was no phone, no GSM.
No GSM, yes.
So if I don't go, he will be panicking. He will be so worried. So I went with my women. We drove, had all kinds of encounters in Benin. By the time we got to Akoko Edo, it was something else. But we thank God we got home safely and we saw him. We said, come, no problem. And we had to wait for the next phase. When they gave them chance to take off, he now moved in, and the people, his own people said, no, come and go for, I think they said he should go for Senate. It didn't, at that time, it didn't work out. He said, okay, he will take his time. They gave him 1 or 2 political appointments, member of the Uniben board and so on. And later, he now went to go. In fact, actually, they came and lured him that he must come for reps, that nobody will go for his people. He should be the one. He has to go. They called me. I said, I'm not part of it. I'm not a politician. I'm a business person. I don't want. They said they insisted, and he went. Because they called him, it was easy. If he won and he came to the house.
In all of this, I noticed that you have always had a way. You said me and my women. You know, you have always had a way of rallying women around you. In Ilori, you started the.
I was the first secretary of the NAWA.
Yes. So, how did you people start that in that place? What led to it?
No, but normally the culture of Nigerian Army, the wives must have. That group, we call it Nigerian Officers' Wives Association, NAWA. So my husband had a boss, commandant at that time. Then I was a Colonel Diomo. The wife automatically president, and the governor's wife patron, so matron, whatever they called it, because the husband also a military man, Mrs. Bamboy, and. When they formed, they gathered us together to start the NAWA meeting. They had to, we had an election. Everybody voted that I must be the secretary. I said, you don't even know me before. We have just all come to Ilorin to serve. Why do you insist that I must be your secretary? He said, no. As with my background, coming back from England, you should be the one to be our secretary. I was secretary until we left Ilorin.
Wow.
We went to Ibadan. Ibadan now, they chose me as the PRO of NAWA. We had Mrs. General Adamu's wife as the president. We moved from Ibadan to Lagos. Lagos people, you according to your zone, and cantonment, Ikeja. Some other people in Iko, now they said I should be the zonal the area woman leader in Ikeja. So when we go for meetings, I will speak for Ikeja NAWA. So that's how it was all true until we left.
Even when you became, even when you retired.
That one was another mystery. Yes, because they formed that association, RAFPOA, Retired Armed Forces and Police Officers Association. When they said Lagos, every state must have its own chapter. Yes, it was the Women Affairs Commissioner. He said, now, ladies, you have to choose who will be your leader. This is what the instruction we got from Abuja. That we must start Retired Armed Forces and Police Officers. And there were 2 ministering officers' wives. You know, the military, you're so disciplined that you don't want to talk when you have senior. No, you don't. They started voting. I was busy nominating the senior officers other people they were all conniving behind me that I must be the one. I said, it's possible. You have the admiral's wives, you have Air Vice Marshal's wives, general's wives, police, IG, they retired.
Why me?
Before you know it, they are finished. They gathered on the paper. They said, Mr. Kobo is it. I was shocked. I said, this is not what I came for. That's how we started, and I had no choice than to lead them.
Beautiful. Now, in all of this, we've tried to trace the journey all the way from Ilori till now. How has these associations really been able to impact on the lives of women, especially both the ones at the time you were there, you know, as an officer's wife, and then, of course, retired? Because a lot of times we want to know what is this doing for the ordinary woman in the society, especially your members.
Retired armed forces and police officers' wives. We did a lot of work together because I was in charge of Lagos State chapter. I had to try to write, I tried to get things, you know, like writing some companies in Lagos, oil companies, that people should make some donations to support women. That if they have any problem, we will donate to them. If they have any need, we'll look for help. I talk to the authorities. I used to come to Abuja to talk to people in defense, talk to people in Ministry of Health. Whatever the women needed, I will come round to discuss with the senior people in the ministry to make sure that they are comfortable.
Okay, that's nice. And now when you retired, your act of charity never stopped. You started, in fact, the first time I heard about you was when somebody told me about the Hope Alive. And
Ningim, yes.
Okay, this is a part of what you do, your brochure. So I want to know, how did you birth this? What gave birth to it? How did you start this? Because I see a lot of charity you're doing. I had to flip through some pages and spoke with some people. Constantly you donate. Tell us more about it.
Actually, you see, I have a background, a very lowly background. My dad died, I was about 5 months old, and my mom wasn't.
5 months?
Yes.
Oh.
My senior sister was about maybe 2 years or something, and my mom was not that kind. She wasn't, you know, back in the village. She didn't have anything apart from trading, buying fish and selling things and so on. There was not much for me to look up to help me to be what others were in those days. But somehow I knew I had to survive. I have to work hard. I have to do. In fact, I would trade. I would do whatever happens. I must go to school. I must live well. And my mom and my auntie, everybody believed in me. But so when I got married, and by the special grace of God, Daddy became house leader, I said I must do something to help. In fact, even before he went to House of Reps, I started going to his village to be paying school fees and giving JAMB fees and WAEC fees to some of the indigent students. But unfortunately, the first set of people we gave money, cash, we gave them cash instead of buying the form.
Yes.
They used the money to buy jeans and shoes and everything, and I never heard the end of it. I said, no more. I went away for some time, then I came back again. I said, this time I'm coming with form, JAMB form, WAEC forms, everything, I'll pay and give to the principal. So they bring their parents, their guardians, and so on to my place. We will take photographs. You can see some of these where I'm giving them. It's students in the village. Give them the forms to fill. At least the principal will guide them. And a few years back now, I found that some of them graduated in the university. I was very thrilled. I said, oh, Father, this is something that, you know, I didn't have the opportunity. Nobody came up to do for me.
And now you found yourself.
But I heard people doing it now in this current time. So I should be able to do for somebody.
Now, your Ningin Hope Alive Foundation,
yes,
yearly you give out stuff. What's the procedure? How do you identify who needs it and then who does not?
When we started having...
some people might just be wanting to.
Yes, when Daddy left office, we started Marvelous Friends Prayer Group Fellowship in my house. We meet every 2 weeks. So after some time, we said, 2 years, let's celebrate our anniversary. Because we meet 2 weeks, and every other month, we will invite people for outreach. We will cook for them, make lunch. We invite widows. Some of them are in Buhari, there's so many there. They will come over. We carry things to orphanage. We give them, in fact, even during my tenure with the Homwa, Honorable Members' Wives, I told them, I introduced this outreach, going to less privileged homes. We go to this, what they call it, but it's a Catholic place, poorest of the poor, something. Yes, on the Gwagwalada Road. Then we go to Kwali. We go. There's another place near Kuje, handicapped. 5 years we got these women, the widows. Said now, before now, we're giving you people money, clothes, and food. We want to know. We interviewed them. Those who could sew, we bought sewing machines for them.
That's good.
Those who could grind tomatoes and things, we bought grinding machines, big one, in the industrial ones for them, so that they will no longer be begging for food. They can use that one and help their family, the children that go to school and so on. And they were very happy about it, and that's how we continued. People were giving money, even though they may not give all what we wanted, all our plans, but whatever they give, we utilize completely on these people.
So you gave me this book as soon as I walked in, and
yes.
I was thrilled. It says Grace Alone. I've been flipping through the pages, and I see a lot of lovely pictures. I saw one picture where you were in a lorry with your this. I'll show the whole world the picture, and I was laughing. I said, "Yeah, this is baby Lahot."
What?
Yeah. So, and you started telling the story about the lorry. You said when you were in the lorry, what happened?
We didn't have air conditioners.
Air conditioners?
No.
Oh.
And I wasn't used to one.
Okay.
No. So eventually, the army issued Daddy with one AC. I said, you better put it in the parlor where you'll be sitting. Don't put it in the bedroom, because I don't know how I will react to it.
Something you're actually scared of AC?
Yes, because we never had it in my mom's place.
Did you guys hear that?
We didn't have fan. We didn't have.
You didn't have fan. You didn't have AC growing up.
No.
So now you're used to it.
Now
Did you have television?
The last night they took light.
Okay.
Before the security man could put on the generator. Sleep left my eye because of heat.
Oh, okay. Now you're over used to it.
No, I'm just used to the sound.
Oh, the sound.
Yes. Because I put on temperature 27 or 26. Some other people put on 18.
Yes, 18.
So you see, I'm not still used to it.
Were you used to television as well?
Did we see television? No, when it came, it was something that everybody gathered to come and see something new. As if something is it a dream or spirit? People
inside the box.
Inside the box.
Oh.
It was something else. People used to describe you as somebody who has that thing that people talk from inside. I don't know what it was, but it was television. I hadn't traveled.
Interesting. Thank you so much. And I know that this is an autobiography of who you are. You want to share a bit of the story with us?
Well, I can tell you about it's growing up and my life during the Biafran War, and how I met my husband, and how I followed him to England when he was sent on a single officer's course. He was not supposed to carry any wife, but I insisted I have to go with him. You can't leave me alone. I was just expecting Tokumbo.
I salute you.
I was in London with him. Went to school there. He left me and came back, and I eventually came back. I had my daughter, and life continued.
Beautiful. It's indeed for me a delight to be with you. But you've been talking about Daddy and how growing up with him and living with him has been so sweet, and how you make him happy. And I also know that one of the things you do to make him happy is to feed him well. And I intend to go to the kitchen.
Oh my God!
Yes. So we're going to go to the kitchen and investigate the kind of food they have been eating, because between her and the corner himself, the honorable, there is no growing old, it's growing young. And she tells me is happiness, which is also part of the cooking. Let's go and see what the food looks like, and then I'll learn. You too will learn. Right? I know you're almost serious. So how did you cook? Cooking with just you and your one daughter, Tokumbo? I thought you overworked her.
Yes, I did.
You did? You're not even denying it?
No.
Oh my God.
She was a market woman. She goes to the market every day.
That's the same sleeve. I feel like the aroma.
Yes.
That's good enough, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Until I taste it.
You know, when I learned to cook at a point, I want to buy kitchen scale. For everything I cook, I scale it.
Why?
But I noticed you're not using scale.
No, because we learned this.
You know?
We learned off scale. I started cutting on Gazi leaf at age 10.
I come in.
It's very hard to play the spoon. Oh.
Now, get away.
I'm actually a passionate baker. I don't rest until everything is done.
When I entered university, anytime I'm broke, I'll make cupcakes and go and sell to the other students.
Decorating cake it's an artistic thing, and art is, dynamic.
Join us on Baker's World every Thursday on the network service of the NTA. Baker's World, celebrating creativity. Don't miss it.
As it is widely known that power is the propelling force of industrialization, apart from powering the factories, this plant will also boost the national grid. To complement the federal government agricultural revolution, the governor has constructed a cocoa processing factory, rice processing factory, and a rice seedling producing plant. A garment factory, which was commissioned by His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in 2016. The factory is the biggest globally, seating over 500 workers at a shift. This factory partners the Central Bank of Nigeria Anchor Borrowers Project.
In terms of size, and having looked at what they also have produced in terms of what they're able to produce and the attention that's being given to the entire process, I would say that, without doubt, it can compete with any garment factory in the world.
We have over 500 here. With every turn you take here, you see an embroidery machine. I'm blown away.
In the same vein, His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, during one of his visits to the state, commissioned the rice seedling producing plant.
A conceiving project such as this, Governor Ayade has a keen eye for tomorrow.
Industrialization is laudable. An industrialized state stands to experience a high economic revival with controllably reduced crime rate.
The ones that are in the village that we have nothing doing at all, today they can boast of their own shop, their own store where they can feed their family, as the younger ones can sponsor them paying their school fee. I think we have benefited much from this government.
We can also include the customers we get our fabrics from, because to an extent too, we're also increasing their income.
With these, we foresee Cross River State liberated from purely a civil service economy to an industrialized one.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Flutterwave, AUB broadcast partner of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Cameroon 2021.
Hello and welcome to our continued matchday live coverage of the 33rd Africa Cup of Nations currently holding in Cameroon. Of course, we've been having a great time here at the Afro Sports